The way we learn, it doesn't just fill our heads with facts. It literally shapes our entire civilization. And right now, we are on the edge of a revolution so huge, it's going to redefine what it means to be human. This is a shift as big as the invention of writing or the printing press. Seriously.
So just look at this timeline. It shows how our learning tools have evolved, sure, but what it's really showing is how our relationship with information itself has completely transformed. We've gone from being passive consumers of knowledge, just reading words on a page, to being active participants. We're now merging our thoughts with screens and AI.
And who's being born right into this new world? Generation Alpha. They're the very first generation to grow up where knowledge is completely interactive. For them, learning isn't some boring lecture they have to sit through. It's a conversation they can join anytime they want.
Okay, so what does this massive shift from passive to active learning actually look like? And maybe more importantly, what in the world does it do to the human brain?
Here it is, side by side. It's pretty stark, right? On the left, you've got the old model, a one-way street where information is broadcast and the student just sits there. But on the right, that's the new model, a two-way dialogue. When a kid can actually manipulate a 3D model of a human heart on a screen or ask an AI tutor to explain photosynthesis, they're not just memorizing facts. No way. They are literally building new pathways in their brain for creativity and for memory that really sticks. Now, this world of instant information comes with a huge challenge for Generation Alpha. The test for them is no longer about finding answers. That's the easy part now. The real test is knowing how to question those answers. And that's why critical thinking and having a strong ethical compass have become the most essential skills we can possibly teach.
And this focus on critical thinking becomes incredibly urgent when we start to think about the future of artificial intelligence. To really wrap our heads around what's at stake, we need to understand a few key concepts that are jumping from the pages of science fiction into reality.
First, there's AGI, or Artificial General Intelligence. Now, this is not just a better version of Siri. We're talking about an AI that could compose a symphony in the style of Beethoven and understand the human emotion it's trying to create. It can think and reason about anything, just like we can. And after AGI, well, that's when we could see ASI, Artificial Superintelligence. This is the next giant leap. An intellect so vast that the combined genius of every human who has ever lived would seem totally insignificant by comparison.
Which brings us to the singularity. This is that hypothetical moment when an AI starts improving itself at an explosive exponential rate that we can no longer control or even comprehend. At that point, the genie is well and truly out of the bottle, and human history as we know it, it changes forever.
This future is coming, whether we're ready for it or not. So the question for us is pretty simple. Are we going to be the architects who design that future, or are we just going to be consumers living in a world that someone else built? Interactive learning is all about equipping our children to be those architects.
Now, you might think a world with superintelligent AI makes human teachers obsolete, but actually it does the exact opposite. It makes them more essential than they have ever been in our entire history.
Why? Because AI can give us information, but it can't give us wisdom. It can calculate all the probabilities in the world, but it can't teach empathy. That's where the human teacher, the mentor, the guide comes in. That's a job for a person.
And we have to be really honest about the dangers here. A society that just dives into technology without that wisdom risks a whole epidemic of problems. We're talking about physical issues from staring at screens, sure, but also things like reduced attention spans, feeling more and more alone, and a real decline in practical, real-world skills. So the goal isn't to pick technology or humanity. It's to find a way to make them work together. The solution is balance. It's about integrating these incredible digital tools with unstructured play, time out in nature, and real, authentic human connection. That's how we create a future that is both smarter and, well, more human.
All of this brings us to a huge decision point. It's a big deal for all of us, but it is especially critical for developing nations, like Pakistan, where the choices they make today are going to have a massive, lasting impact on their place in the world.
This is it. This is the fundamental question that's going to define the 21st century for every single community and every nation. Are we going to be the ones shaping the future, or are we going to be the ones who are shaped by it?
The choice is pretty simple when you boil it down. Lead or follow. We can either jump in, embrace this new world of interactive learning, and train a generation of innovators to become global leaders, or we can fall behind and just end up being consumers of technology that was built somewhere else.
But in the end, when you strip away all the devices and all the code, you realize this isn't really a conversation about technology at all. It's about something far more fundamental.
It's about us. It's about human consciousness. The tools are here, and they are getting more powerful by the second. The only question that's left is whether we will have the wisdom to guide them. Interactive learning. It isn't just an educational strategy. It's the first real step toward creating a future where humanity is the conscious guide of its own destiny.